What do you think would happen if you planted the Three Sisters garden directly into an established lawn? Didn't weed it, water it, or prepare the area at all. Just dig a hole, throw the seeds in, throw some dirt on top, walk away. The Three Sisters garden method is an intercropping garden of corn, beans, and squash. So while I've been growing the Three Sisters garden for years, this year I planted it directly into an established lawn. Pretty much just to prove it can be done. I didn't prep the area at all. I haven't watered. I won't be applying any pesticide. And I'm going to document the garden's growth, and I'll try to share it with you guys. Alright, I said I'd do an update on the Three Sisters garden. It's been 38 days since I put the corn in the ground. And again, we put the beans and the squash in the ground a couple of weeks after that. If you look up the Three Sisters garden on YouTube or read other people's experience with it, it doesn't always work out great. And I think part of that is the seed that we choose. A lot of the corn seed that you have available to you right now, it's been bred selectively to have certain traits like yield or flavor. And for everything that that corn has, there's something that it doesn't have. Now, I selected Hopi Blue flower corn. This plant is extremely drought tolerant. It's exactly what I want to have on hand so that even in a drought, I can grow a bunch of corn. That's how I found it. I then learned that traditionally it can be planted very deep in the earth because they grow it in the desert. So they dig a hole until they find moist soil, and that's where they put the seed. At that level, even if it's a foot down, they plant their corn all the way down there, and then bury it with nice loose soil. And they plant many seeds in one hole of this variety, and it still grows up through all that soil, through a foot of sand. Up comes this corn. And what I've learned is that that trait that it has works well here in Wisconsin, even when we're having a very wet spring like we are now, because I planted that seed down deep below the root mass of the grass because I planted it in an established lawn. And one of the problems that other people experience when planting corn or other plants in a lawn is it's competing with the grass, this turf grass that we've got here from Europe. It's competing with that for water and nutrients, and the grass outcompetes it at that level where the roots are, that first 3 inches. So when I planted the Three Sisters garden, when I first planted the corn, I dug a nice deep hole. I got beneath the roots of the established lawn, and that's where I planted my seed. I put some dirt back on top, and it grew right up, from 5-6 inches down, no problem. So this is my first update since the completion of the original Three Sisters video. We're 39 days in. And I really want to make the point that I dug a hole in the ground, I threw the corn in. A couple of weeks later, I dug another hole in the ground, I threw the beans and the squash in, and I'm doing nothing else. The grass around it's probably 3 foot tall. It's definitely 3 foot tall. And it's not stopping the corn from growing. I planted 60 stations total for corn, beans, and squash. I spent less than 2 hours. And I'm gonna get tens of thousands of seeds, which I plan on saving all winter long so that in the spring, if somebody needs them, I've got them on hand. I can hand them out to my friends and family. Kind of like a food insurance. So I don't really think it's that extreme to have a food insurance in case something crazy happens and Walmart doesn't have its shelves stocked. As a husband and a father, I really feel like it's my responsibility to have food insurance for my family. You don't have to know a whole lot. All you have to do is have these seeds on hand so that if you ever needed them, you could put them in the ground and you know that 100 days later, all your food worries are going to go away. And considering you only need enough seeds to fill a mason jar to have that security, to me it seems a no-brainer. Get yourself a mason jar, get yourself a bunch of Hopi Blue flower corn seeds and some squash and some bean seeds. All in all, I planted 60 stations of the Three Sisters garden. I didn't weed it, water it, or apply pesticide. And I'm not going to do anything else. I'm going to let that grass and those weeds grow right up alongside my garden. And I hope to demonstrate that if you plant these seeds, these specific seeds, that you can grow this garden in your established lawn with little to no effort. We're coming up on a day 52 update for the Three Sisters garden. I don't have a gardening community around me. I didn't grow up gardening. Never really started gardening at all until about 6 years ago. I started a rose garden. So I had mentioned that I don't have a gardening community around me, and I'm really thankful. And the reason I'm thankful is because if I did, I just about guarantee that I would not have started this project with the Three Sisters garden, because somebody would have talked me out of it. They would have told me it was dumb. Hatched this plan, started this project. I really didn't even have the yard to do it. My kids use my backyard that I haven't already filled up with my raised beds. So I had to solicit my services to one of my customers for free for the opportunity to grow the Three Sisters garden that I've showed you on their property. And I'm going to save those seeds. Here's why. One station, one mound of the Three Sisters garden will produce enough seeds that if I took those seeds and replanted them next year, just one mound, one station of the 60 that I planted, replant those seeds, I could grow a garden big enough to provide one person with every single calorie that they would need for a whole year. And that's at the minimum. All right, so things are waist high on me. I've got short legs, so probably not waist high on you. Pencil thin down at the ground. Pencil thin. I think we're on day 60. So I was growing concerned. Just not wide enough, just not healthy enough, maybe. So then I'm doing some reading and start counting leaf collars. And I'd never even considered a leaf collar before. And I think there's a leaf, there's a collar. There's a leaf, there's a collar, and that's it. one leaf collar, and that's true for all of these. I thought I saw one plant that had 2 leaf collars. Hopefully I'm doing this right. There's a leaf, there's a collar, and that's it. I don't know, you probably can't see very well, I'm sorry. Leaf collar, I'm sure that's just one. So, is it all right if your corn is pencil thin when it's waist high if it's only got 1 leaf collar? July 2nd. I don't know exactly off the top of my head how many days it's been
64
with the corn in the ground, but I'm guessing 62, 63 days. So you'll see in the footage that I'm sharing, it's still not very thick. And of course, the more work you put into your Three Sisters garden, the better your garden's gonna look, the better yields you're gonna get. You won't be sorry for the work that you put in. I'm not doing any work. I didn't prep. Exciting news. Well, would you look at this? That's a flower. What an ambitious plant. First thing this morning, when this big old grapevine beetle came to visit me, I didn't realize that today was going to be about bugs. Maybe I should have. So I saw this little fella a couple of weeks ago, and before I could get a video, he evaded me, just like he's doing now. I hope you got a chance to see him. All right. Oh, there he goes. Do you see him? They're just not that common, at least as far as I can tell. So this is exciting. You are more than welcome here. Other than the praying mantis, today I observed Asian beetles eating my corn. Lots of earwigs down in the curled leaves. I think that they can eat the pollen of the corn, but also some other pest bugs if they want. I don't really know. I think I took a picture of some moths that were dancing in the garden. I got a picture of one of those moths eating some pollen right alongside of a bee. Yeah, today is a bug day. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. My thoughts on the first 75 days are that I'm really happy that I went ahead with the experiment. I think it's going well, especially for the corn. Maybe not so well for the beans and the squash. But I'm really excited by what I've been able to accomplish doing so little. Maybe I didn't talk about that enough in this first video here, but I've done almost nothing. And I'm going to grow thousands and thousands of survival seeds. And I think that's important because I do believe that there is at least a very small chance that one day there might be a reason to need survival seeds. Hopefully a very small chance. Check out part 2.